Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Am I Doing This Wrong? Ryann, how you doing?
Deep breaths, right?
Always with the big sigh.
I get it from you.
I know. I don't even know if I do it anymore. Do I?
Compared to me, no, I don't think you do.
I know. Really. Yeah, it's taken on a life of its own.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, that's really how I feel. I feel like it's a deep sigh kind of week. No, I'm doing pretty good. I finally had a therapy appointment, so that really helped. But just a tip for all of you therapy goers, don't miss appointments because your therapist will read you. She was like, I get it. Life happens, but that's why you're in therapy. So that when life happens, you know what to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, right. Because I'm not fixed yet. Got it. Okay. Right. But no, yeah, it's been a good week. I started a whole new part of my profession, which for all you interpreters out there, I started working VRS or training. Let me stop. Let me slow down. I have not started the actual job. I'm training. And so it's a lot and I'm tired and I am still, when you start something new, you feel like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, is this right? So I just kind of have to push through. I know that that's just like my inner demon, kind of like trying to play tricks on me, but I'm okay.
Imposter syndrome. It's like what we were talking about in a previous episode. It really, like, you have to just do it. You're not going to ever get experience in something if you don't try. So you got to do it.
No, exactly.
It's exciting. You're right. Though.
And yeah, exactly. It is exciting, which is why I kept telling myself like, okay, you signed up for this voluntarily. So there's that, but also too, yeah, like it is very much so like looking around at the other people in the room and being like, okay, I knew a certain part of my job and field and now I'm in a new place. So like, I'm just, like literally like just trying to tread water, just trying to stay above the surface. Like, oh, can I do this? But yes, I can. So thank you for asking.
You just gave yourself a pep talk. Good job. That was good.
If I talk long enough, I'll eventually get myself out of it. Usually.
Yeah, true. That's good. That's good. Yeah. You're your own therapist sometimes.
That positives and negatives.
I try to be. Yeah. She's like, don't do that. No, she's like, yeah, it's okay, but not all the time.
Right. Yeah. But anywho, how are you doing?
I'm good. Doing well. It's been a busy week. Been a crazy week. My dad went to the farmer's market today, which is good, right? He's had some health issues. And so big step, right? Farmer's market.
A very big step.
Yeah. Do you want to know what he came home with? Not vegetables. Like 4 different loaves of bread. Which, I mean, hey, I love bread, but like it's a lot of bread. No vegetables. So I guess like baby steps,
I know, right? Yeah, exactly.
It's a start. It's a good start.
It is a start. That's hilarious and completely matches with what I would see your dad like going through and being like, I'm a little bit overwhelmed by all of like this like organic veggie situation, but I know bread.
Yeah.
And I've been there before. So like, tell me all about this rye. You know what I mean? I could see
that. Yeah. Tell me all about this rye. And you know what? He does love a good Reuben sandwich, which not my cup of tea. I think it's got Thousand Island dressing on it, which no thanks.
Not a good one. It shouldn't. Not if it's made correctly. No, Reuben. I don't know the exact sauce, but it's not Thousand Island. Thousand Island. Yeah. I mean, I get what
it's like orange. Are there other orange sauces? I don't know.
Yeah. There's different spices and flavors.
Okay, fine.
I just had a Reuben sandwich the other day and it was really good. It definitely was not Thousand Island. I can promise you that. Yeah.
It's some kind of mayo based sauce though. So I'm good.
Yeah. You've just described every sandwich.
Ugh, I know. I hate sandwiches. That's why. No.
And there's your takeaway. Yeah.
Prefer mustard.
Yeah.
I'll do mustard.
Okay. Mix of both.
No. All right, let's move on because nobody cares about what we like on our sandwiches.
Yes, Morgan, what are we talking about this week?
Well, we have a very interesting topic, very research heavy. So we will jump right in. But before we do, I have looked up the definition of a sulfate.
Oh, no.
We said we were going to do it, and you didn't think I would, but I remembered.
We did.
All right. Okay. So sulfate is a group of mineral salts that have a natural or human-made origin. These salts can appear in soil, air, and water. Sulfates can form during the decay of plant and animal matter, but they also form as byproducts from textile, mining, steel mills, and tannery industries. So, in regards to shampoo and like skincare, basically sulfates can strip the oil and dirt away. And so in the case of hair, we need to retain some moisture. So how we were talking about, you want it to cleanse some of the excess, you want it to cleanse some of the excess oil, but not strip it entirely.
Right.
Which is why sulfates are not good in your skin and hair products.
Interesting. Okay. So, but there's multiple different types, right? Like there's different types of sulfates?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's a stripping agent, basically. And so it can be too harsh for the hair and skin.
Got it. Okay. That checks out. I'm glad we went there. Now we can move on.
Okay. Yes. And now let's all forget again.
Yeah.
So what we are talking about today is sleep. Favorite thing. Do I get enough? Absolutely not. But this was really, really interesting. So the history of sleep, which was kind of funny because I'm like, weren't we just all doing it? Everyone's just been doing it, you know?
Right.
Kind of like our orgies episode. Everyone's just been doing it.
Yeah.
So, but there is history. So let's get into it.
Yeah. Someone got tired and laid down.
So sleep. Okay. So let's just start with from beginning of recorded time, sleep along with it, dreams have played an important role in virtually every religion. So sleep was really valued, and before the Industrial Revolution, we'll say, like electricity and even like candlelight, people just slept so much more because, they didn't have their cell phones and electricity to keep them up all night.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. An example was in 800 BC. What do we say BC was for our non-secular or our secular people?
Secular. For secular people, BCE is before Common Era.
Okay, BCE. Okay. So the ancient Egyptians constructed temples to worship the goddess Isis. Isis? Probably Isis, right? Their congregants and priests would gather to interpret dreams. So fun. We'll do an episode on that. And Greeks and Romans also worshipped gods associated with sleep, like Hypnos and his Roman equivalent Somnus. So very important.
Okay.
Very important, sleep. Dreams were and continue to be more mysterious than sleep itself. During the Enlightenment, people would interpret dreams for themselves, and it was largely reserved for the priestly class. So it was really important, but it was,
yeah, for like upper class.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we'll skip that. Okay.
Well, but this is the thing, right? So like with sleep, it's the closest that you'll get to death, right? Like it's almost like, yeah, like some people describe sleep as like you're in, like a near death state, right? And so dreams are associated, or a lot of times, not always, but they're closely associated with like afterlife, right? Or premonitions, predictions.
Right.
So it just makes sense that, of course, that would be for, more upper class people, because like you said, the priest class is really like the only class that was able to read.
That's
so they were able to interpret past teachings and readings from, before, when people realized that the guy was just sleeping. He wasn't dead. You know what I mean? It's like, he was literally just sleeping. So it was always, closely related with death. I do know that. I remember learning about that. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. And I mean, with what was going on and what we've talked about in previous episodes with like medical practices, like bloodletting and leeches and all of that, can you imagine the interpretation of dreams? They'd be like, I went to sleep and then this crazy thing happened in my mind.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
And they were like, it means you're a witch.
Yeah. Right.
To burn you at the stake.
Right. Just to check.
Literally.
So the importance was definitely devalued, I guess we could say, during the Industrial Revolution, like we mentioned before, because this was the introduction of artificial light. So London was the first city to use gas lamps. And then I think people dispute Thomas Edison being the one to invent the light bulb.
Yeah. It was invented before him.
Okay. Well, it has him mentioned here, but I was like, but either way, the incandescent light bulb was created and used on a mass scale.
Okay.
So that was in the 1800s, late 1800s. So, sorry, there's a lot of this. I was just trying to pick out things.
So wait, if the light bulb was introduced and that affected the way people viewed sleeping, because it wasn't like, because basically before that, if you had a candle or whatever and went out, like everything was pitch black, right? So like, I could see that aiding to the to the process. Like, it seems a lot more spiritual when the entire world is literally dark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, if you've ever been like real camping, not glamping, right, where there's like street lights at the end of each like little camping area,
right?
Like if you've been to like the real woods or just like a national park and done like a night hike and like got caught accidentally, like in the night, I mean, it is very like ominous and kind of scary to be out in the pitch black.
It is. It's really scary.
Yeah. And so I could just imagine like, living in a cave or even, or whatever. And that being like a very, like, you need something to connect it to, right? Like, this darkness can't just be like normal, like there has to be further meaning to it. So either way, I think it's super interesting to think about something like sleep, because like you said, we do it all the time. It's just like this thing that we all know that we have to do to like replenish our body. But at the same time, we do it with so many lights around, and at any time, if we want to wake up and not be in complete darkness, we don't ever have to deal with like what that feels like. You know what I mean?
It's like stressing you out as you talk about it. I could tell. Like, have you ever been in like the really darkness? Like,
yeah, it's like,
but that's true. Like, people would rise and sleep with the sun, and that was it. And so you did get a lot more like sleep, especially during winter months. So the invention of artificial light meant more hours in the day, mostly for working.
Right. Of course.
Of course, exactly. So in 1926, Ford became the first major American company to introduce the 8-hour workday and 40-hour work week. And there were a lot of labor parties that had to lobby for this. Yeah. So
So
But up until
a bunch
26,
of like,
that was really not the case.
yeah. So a bunch of rich white dudes were like, we want this work week, because that's the thing. Like, yeah, it was not always a thing. And in most other countries, it still isn't a thing. A lot of people have dropped the ideology that like working 40 hours a week is normal. It's definitely not. And it also, yeah, it's like a casino, right? Like casinos use artificial light all day, all night, because
no windows,
because it's very disorienting, right?
Yep.
You don't know what time it is ever. And so it literally was like that same concept was applied to these factories, right? Where it's like, no, you don't need to go home. Just like, get your, take a nap with the lights on.
With the lights on. Yeah. They're like, I wish I could go camping in the middle of nowhere woods.
And what do we do now to get away? We go to Joshua Tree.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere. Yep.
Middle of nowhere.
That's true. That's true. So as far as dreams go, in the 20s and 30s, people like Freud and Jung examined dreams not so much in a religious context, but more as a manifestation of our subconscious, which I think is how people look at examining dreams today. Some people think it's silly. I don't know, Ryan, do you think it's silly?
Well, after the way you just introduced it,
I know.
I think
I'm
it's
like,
very
Ryann,
serious.
what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's dumb as fuck. No, I'm just kidding. I actually, so a little side note, I did a dream journal in my senior year of high school. Shout out AP Psych. What? No. But I did a dream journal, and we basically, just had to like, the more that you write down your dreams, like that's kind of the theory behind it. Like the more you write down your dreams, the more you will be able to retrieve them, within the coming nights. Like you'll basically start to move that start to move the unconscious into your conscious, right? So like things that just kind of pass you by kind of start to be like in your main mind. I'm not going to get into all that. But the point is that when I did the dream journal, a lot of dreams did correlate with things and like themes that were happening in my life, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's similar to like astrology, right? Like I do very well with like guessing people's signs, and I'm not just saying that. Like I really do pretty well. Like I'm like, that's a Taurus, you know what I mean? Like I can kind of just tell. But the point is, I think it's similar with like dreaming, because a lot of people are like, I never dream or I never remember them. And I'm like, sure, but that's just because that's not a daily part of our life. We're not showing up to work being like, so what did you dream last night?
We're not. Is that a weird thing to ask your coworkers? Noted.
Yeah. Morgan's like sitting in a dark corner with no light. And she's like, what was your dream last night? Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, are you going to get the phone? We have customers on the line. No. No, I'm not.
No, I'm not. Yeah,
not until you tell me your dream.
Yeah. Such a cancer of you. No, I'm just kidding. But not you. I was saying the character. Anyways, point being, I think it's similar. I think that I take it for what it is. But again, when it does line up, it's like, that's really interesting. And, any introspection is good for me. So yeah, I'm good with it.
True. Okay. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So, sleep around the 1925, there was a doctor. His name's Nathaniel Kleitman. Ooh, I almost said something else. I think it's Kleitman. Considered to be the founder of sleep research, opened the world's first sleep lab at the University of Chicago. And then by the 90s, there were over 200 sleep labs and centers to treat sleep disorders just within the US.
Okay.
So while sleep was undervalued at the time of the Industrial Revolution, I think we've kind of brought it back because everyone's tired and, and we have all these artificial, lights and screens and products all around us all the time. So much stimulation all the time that sleep has become, how many self-help or like, morning routine, night routine, all this stuff includes, making sleep a priority.
Right. Yeah, that's true. No, exactly. Because it's like a, like the pendulum, right? Like a pendulum has like two very extremes, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
like way back, sleep was really important, right? But then the pendulum kind of swung because people realized like, well, if you sleep less and work more, like I can make more money, And so of course it was for exploitation and being taken advantage of. But also in that way, yeah, we had to realize like, okay, maybe we should like kind of try to find a balance, right? Like, yes, sleep is important, but we do have ways of supplementing the time that we have, like as far as like with the sun or with artificial light.
Right.
But you will notice that there are like communities now that have, reverted back to like, no, sleep is the most important, and I'm only going to actually be productive, like really truly productive for like 7 to 10 hours out of the day. That's just it. And I don't mean productive as far as like work productive. I mean like those are the only hours that my mind is actually going to work at a healthy capacity. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that includes waking up, being with friends, being with family, eating, right? Like taking time for myself, doing exercises, right? Like there are communities that have tried to adapt that back into their society.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think like it's a good thing, right? But unfortunately, just especially within our modern day American culture, we just don't have that luxury. Like we talk about, yeah, mental health and taking care of yourself at work, while they're also like working you like 70 hours a week. So like, which one is it? You know?
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about how much sleep we need. Ooh. So,
More than I get.
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, so according to the CDC, so let's just go down the list. So newborns, 0 to 3 months, need 14 to 17 hours of sleep. Isn't that crazy? I mean, I get it, but like that's just a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, but honestly, like newborns are just basically aliens. Like they need to
Yeah.
sleep. They need to really grow, get into themselves. You know what I mean? Find
Right.
themselves.
They really need to find themselves. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
It's a journey.
It's yeah, true. True. Okay. So infants 4 to 12 months need 12 to 16 hours.
Okay.
Toddlers 1 to 2 years old need 11 to 14 hours. Preschool, which is 3 to 5 years old, needs 10 to 13 hours. And school age 6 to 12 needs 9 to 12 hours. Teenagers 13 to 18 need 8 to 10 hours. And then we have adults. So 18 to 60-year-olds need 7 or more hours.
Wait. 18 to 60?
Yeah.
Okay. Because really? That just seems like such a large range. I feel like at 18, like, did I sleep? I don't even remember my 18th year.
I mean, you're just coming out of the 13 to 18 range, so you were probably at the 8 to 10 hour mark. So it's an adjustment to go down to 7 or more.
Or more. Yeah. I mean, fair enough. That's true. I just feel like, I mean, I guess that's like just young people brain, right? You're not fully developed anyway. Because
Yeah.
I really don't feel like I slept much my year, like my 18th year. I feel like that was just like one wild like casino night,
But it's like you don't sleep one night and then you sleep for like 14 hours the next. So it's probably, you know what I
Okay.
mean?
That is true. You crash.
Like, right, exactly. And your parents come wake you up at like 12 and they're like, "Are you going to sleep all day?" And you're like, "God, I wish you came in and now I'm not, but I
Right.
wish."
Yeah, I was planning
Remember
on
those
it.
days? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So for our 61 to 64 year olds, they need 7 to 9 hours. And then 65 and older needs 7 to 8 hours. So
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
are
that's
you
like
getting 7 or more hours a night?
I would say usually I am. I'm in
Okay.
this weird space where I haven't turned 30 yet. So I'm like trying to prove to myself that I don't need sleep. Like, look at me. And so I like stay up and watch Netflix. But the reality is I do need that much sleep. I do usually. Yes. Like if I really have things to do, like, yes, I have to get at least like 6 to 7, I would say, not usually over 7 hours, but it's usually about 6 to 7 hours that I do because I feel the difference. And also too, if you like add anything into your routine, like working out or even like taking my dogs on a walk, right? Like those things I'm just not going to be able to do also while working. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I do. Yeah. What about you?
No, definitely not.
What's like average for you?
Probably 5.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate. I know. I have a terrible sleep schedule. Sometimes I'll be on point and then I'll go like a whole month where it's like 5 hours every night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but this is the thing, right? Like I had trouble sleeping for a few years, especially like during college, which my college days, yes, I did party like a lot in the summer and stuff, but like I was pretty serious about my studies. But I just think it was a combination of just like always being nervous, like always having something else to do. Whereas in my adult age, I'm just like, whatever, I'm not going to get a good dog. I'm not going to check off all the things on my list today. So I'm just going to go to bed. Yeah. It comes with age and confidence. You know what I mean?
The confidence to blow off a task until tomorrow.
Yes.
That's true. That's really true. Wait till you're 30.
Right. Well, I was still, even when I was younger, I would still blow off the task. I just couldn't sleep after. You know what I mean?
You were more worried about it. Now you're like, whatever. It is what it is.
There you go. And there's that deep sigh again.
We're all gonna sleep well tonight because can't change it.
Yeah.
Can't change it.
I'm one person. You know.
All right. So that should be our poll for the week. Let's see how many people are getting enough sleep according to their age range, which is probably all 18 to 60. I don't know if we have much of an audience in the 13 to 18 or over 65 categories, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. So let's talk a little bit about dreaming. And we might do another episode on this because I feel like it's such a big topic, but I definitely wanted to bring it up because, very interesting. Yes. So people who are sleep deprived also tend to be dream deprived, spending less time dreaming and perhaps not remembering dreams as well. So because you're not getting enough sleep, you are probably not going into a REM cycle. Or going in as deeply into a REM cycle. So that's rapid eye movement, which like, have you ever seen someone sleeping and they're in? It's so creepy. I know.
Yeah.
It's wild. If you guys aren't watching the visual conversation, Ryann just did her eyes all crazy.
REM-like. Yeah.
REM-like.
But before I knew what REM was, which, I really didn't figure it out that long ago, but before I actually knew, well, hey, shout out AP Psych. I did know what REM was.
Oh.
Which is very different from rimming, but we'll get to that on another episode.
Oh.
But it never ends. Yeah. But no, the first time I think I remember seeing somebody in REM cycle, I guess, which then I was just like, okay, so I have a demon in my family. Like, that's what that is. But it was my younger cousin. And I just remember thinking like, this can't be good for you. Like, you're going to wake up exhausted because your eyes have just been like working overtime. But come to find out, that's the best part of sleep. I don't know. It looks weird. So
yeah, it could be a little jarring. That's true. But that's true. Why don't you wake up with your eyes feeling like the muscles strained or something?
So if REM cycle is interrupted, your eyes do feel strained. If you've ever been woken up in the middle of the night, or if you have to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, usually your body does wait until like the end of your REM cycle, right? Because you kind of like repeat like a cycle. And so like if you've ever had to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, you'll know that like it's like towards the end of your dream. I don't know if this is for everyone, and maybe we can talk about this like on the dream episode. But usually when I have to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, it's like, I know I have to in my dream. And like right before I go to the bathroom or something, I wake up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that kind of is like a biological thing where your body's literally like, let's get you through this REM cycle before waking you up. Because yeah, you wake up way more exhausted and your eyes do hurt if you wake up in the middle of REM cycle. So it's like you're in a marathon, you know, but you have to finish out that last leg, you know?
Right. Just make it. Yeah. Just a few more steps. That's So over a person's lifetime, they can dream for up to 5 or 6 full years, which like makes sense because we all have to sleep every day. But like, isn't that kind of interesting to think of it as like a full like portion of time?
Feels like a waste. Now I'm kind of upset.
Okay, well, don't have that. No. Ryann wants to go back to the Industrial Revolution. Like, she's like 16-hour work days.
I know. I've just become a capitalist. I get it. 5 to 6 years. Yeah. Waste of time. Like, what's all this PTO? Yeah.
You're real Rockefeller. Okay. So.
Oh my God. The socialist in me is just crying right now, but it's okay. That was for fun.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah. You can stay up late watching Netflix to calm your or give yourself more anxiety because you'll be tired tomorrow. We'll see. So as far as dream interpretation goes, like we said, Sigmund Freud was obviously big in this realm, we'll say. So he published The Interpretation of Dreams, which today most experts disagree with. And some believe that dreams don't signify anything at all. But it was kind of the first introduction into dream interpretation. And a lot of people on the flip side do still look to their dreams for clues to their inner lives, creative insight, or hints to the future. So premonitions.
Yeah. Right. Predictions. Yeah.
So to that I wrote, I have a side note. I said challenge accepted. So we will interpret our dreams and we will see the future. I don't know.
Yeah, fair.
We'll do something with it.
Hey, well, yeah, we'll use it somehow.
Yeah.
I just think it's so interesting, which I guess that's just a different type of personality, right? I don't know the different types of personalities, but it's almost like living literally versus living like in not in the dream world, but like living not a fantasy, but what's the other type? It's like living logically versus living like how we live, like impulsively. But it's, you know, like, but this like
living
fantastic,
like you're like on a train that's about to go off the tracks all the time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And so if it's going to go off the tracks anyway, let's, you know, I don't know, jump out the window or something. I don't know, do something. But the logical part of you, or, you know, logical people would say, no, let's like try to fix it. Let's like do these things, you know? Whereas now I'm just like, my hands are up, like, woo.
Right.
You know?
It is what it is. Just go back to it.
Yeah. Just an episode of cliches. Like,
right.
What's meant to happen will happen.
Right. Well, it's true because everything happens for a reason. So.
Ooh, yes. Oh, love that.
Yeah, that's a good
Live,
one.
laugh, love that.
Oh my God. Okay, enough. People are probably annoyed. So this article I found went on to talk about lucid dreaming, which is really interesting, which most commonly occurs during the late stages of REM sleep. And this actually kind of ties into what you were talking about in regards to like waking up to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. So a dreamer is aware that they're asleep, but is able to control the events in their dreams to some extent. So like you were saying, you might start dreaming that you are like walking into the bathroom and you sit down and then you wake up or something like that. Yeah. So lucid dreamers report willing themselves to fly, fight, or act out sexual fantasies. Wow. Which like I've had some realistic dreams where I'm like, oh my God, like you wake up and you're like, were they like touching me for real? Like, have you had that?
No, I have not had G-Eazy in my bedroom. No, I know that's what you're talking about.
Who?
G-Eazy.
Oh no, no. Oh well, I did. No, but you know what? The first time that ever happened to me, it was Sean from Degrassi. Do you remember Sean?
Yes. Oh my God.
He wasn't even like, he's not Drake. You know what I mean? Like there were much cuter guys on Degrassi, or there were like
Drake wasn't even Drake then. Let's be clear.
No.
He was very Aubrey at that moment. Okay?
Well, if I said Aubrey Graham, people might not know who I'm talking about. So
real Aubrey Drake Graham, fans will. Real
that's
Drake
true.
Fans will.
That's true. Jimmy? Anyone?
Jimmy? Yeah.
But I liked what's his name? Craig?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, I was a big Craig fan. But I don't know why it was Sean of all the Degrassi characters in
who was the gay character who came out to Sean and he was like, because I'm gay. I loved him. Marco. Yeah. Yes. I was always about Marco. He always wore like little kerchiefs, little handkerchiefs.
Yeah.
It was a look.
Little what? What was that?
Kerchiefs? I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So so there are whole communicated or nope. Sorry. There are a whole oh my god. Nope. There are whole communities dedicated to learning how to lucid dream at will, although evidence that this is possible remains inconclusive. But if you want to try it out, I mean, we've talked about this in our therapy episode. Just like go on Facebook, there's like a group for that. So
true. I would be careful though, because lucid dreaming, from what I've heard, has two sides, right? Like, there's this side where you can kind of, not necessarily will yourself, but like you just have a little bit more control. But then there's like this other side, right? That can get a little bit dark, and you just don't know which one you're going to end up in. You know what I mean? It's like playing with a Ouija board or something. I don't know. Point being, I think it's really interesting though, because I have always wondered that, right? Like people that sleepwalk, like my niece used to actually sleepwalk,
Okay.
And even when we would like stop her, like say she would walk into the kitchen or something, like even when we would stop her, it wasn't like she was like, oh yeah, okay, I'll go back to bed. It was still like, what? Like, and then we would just put her back to bed, and then she would wake up and be like, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of like, it's not as fun. I don't know if it's fun at all, but I feel like it's not as fun if you can't remember it. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like, oh, I did that. I mean, I've had some drunken nights that, same situation,
Yeah,
so.
That's true. Nobody wants to hear about what they did from a third party. That's true.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So, yeah.
That's true though. Things can get dark, and we will get into that in a second. So most people don't typically experience lucid dreaming, so it's not for everyone. Those who tend to experience it, it's usually like without agency. So again, trying to will yourself to do it is questionable, inconclusive research, as they had said. But they do say it could be beneficial for boosting creativity and confidence, reducing stress, and oh no, that's it. Okay, so we'll just say those two. So boosting creativity and confidence, and reducing stress. So that's interesting. I think maybe because you feel like you have more control, even like in a time when you're sleeping and vulnerable.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yes.
Okay. Next topic.
Agreed. Right.
So this one's kind of scary. So sleep paralysis. So researchers believe sleep paralysis is caused by a disturbed rapid eye movement cycle, mostly because it mostly happens as people are falling into or coming out of REM sleep. So has this ever happened to you? Have you ever had sleep paralysis where you are like so basically your brain is paralyzing your muscles so you don't act out your dreams, right? Because dreams that you're flying or dreams that you're like jumping out, you might like fall out of your bed or whatever. So your muscles shut down so that you don't hurt yourself. So when you have sleep paralysis, the brain is aware you're awake, but your muscles don't move. So it's like it's scary. It is scary.
Yeah, I think I've had it one time. And the reason I think that it was sleep paralysis, because I looked it up after. I was like, I was awake, but I wasn't, or something,
Yeah.
like, I just like Googled it or something. And yeah, it was that. I was like, oh, I was laying on my bed. It was a lot younger. I want to say like I was in high school or something, almost, maybe not, maybe in college, but I was laying on my bed, and all I remember thinking is like, why am I not moving? So a lot of people say that they've, from what I read online, that they see things. A lot of people have kind of the same recurring kind of creepy dream. Didn't have that. I just remember distinctly remembering, like, I know I'm on my bed. I know I'm laying down, but like, why am I not moving? Like, that's all I remember thinking. And then I think it ended quickly, or I was just, so scared or something that like, I like woke myself up anyway. So I think I have experienced it once, but I think you have a little bit more background on this.
Yes. So I've experienced it 3 times.
Okay.
And it has been scary. And so a lot of people, like you said, do usually experience some kind of like feeling of someone being in the room. So I had this wild dream. It was kind of like a Final Destination sort of dream. Like I had a premonition of how like people around me were going to die, not to get too bleak. And then it started happening. And so I was like running around trying to like help and trying to avoid what I saw, and it didn't work. And then it was just like me by myself, and I ran up to this room to hide. And then it was like this like creature came out of the corner and was walking towards me. And then it was like I was in my room and it was still walking towards me.
Whoa.
And it was really scary. By the time I like was able to move my body, I jumped up, turned the lights on, and I was so scared. Yeah, it was terrifying.
Wow.
Really, really scary.
Yeah.
And the second time it wasn't like a creature, it was like a person was in like someone had broken into my room.
Oh, wow.
And they like came up to me and like put their hand over my mouth. It was very scary.
Whoa. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. So like, dude, how do you listen to true crime shit? Like, I don't understand. Like, I literally don't understand. I'm going to look it up. There has to be like information about the psyche behind listening to true crime. Because for me, like, I know that like, those are the type of situations that if I learn too much about, it will be in my subconscious. Like I will definitely dream about something like that. I had a dream. I watched like Blade Runner or something randomly, and I literally had a dream that I was running, and I don't even think it's about a guy running in that movie. I don't even know, but I felt like I was running the entire time. Like I watched it was something like that. It was like a high intensity movie, and literally because it was so high intensity, that was what like it's kind of got into my brain. And then like I just dreamed about like running, like I couldn't stop running. I don't really, again, like the specifics of dreams, I do feel like I block out because I just know I can't handle that on the daily. But I don't remember if someone was chasing me, but I just remember like I couldn't stop running. Like I was like, I have to keep running. And so I just wonder, like with like things like sleep paralysis and stuff, like that almost seems like if there's a way to will it, again, I don't know if there is, if there's a way to actually make yourself do things in dreams, it just seems so much more likely that if you were watching things that like were like, you had no control, or where somebody was being chased, it seems like that kind of stuff would seep into your subconscious, right? Because that triggers like the fight or flight in your brain, right? When we watch high intensity episodes or high intensity movies, right, where there's like it's really panicky, there's a lot of anxiety built up, that triggers that fight or flight in your brain, right, which makes you think about what are they going to do, right? That's why people yell at the screen like run, or whatever, because it triggers that in us. So I just wonder like if your experience with listening to true crime and stuff like affects that. Like
I mean, maybe, but like the first time it happened, this creature thing, it looked like the devil. Like if you had like a stereotypical like with the horns and the hooves and just like big, like kind of like Hellboy almost, but scarier.
Yeah.
Not like funny, but like scary.
Okay.
So,
right.
So I don't know, maybe we can do a bonus episode because Ryann and I have talked about this before. We are so on opposite sides of the spectrum when it comes to anything scary, anything true crime. Like I will put on a scary movie if I'm feeling anxious or I would want to like unwind. Like I don't know what it is that does for me, but I would rather watch that over most other things.
Yeah. We gotta talk about that.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. Like it doesn't, nothing really, there are a few things that bother me. There are a few things I can't listen to, but for the most part, I don't know. I like it. I don't know.
Hey,
prepare. I like to be prepared for some things. For most other things, not prepared at all. Barely prepared. Train flying off the tracks. That's my life. I don't know why, but for this, I'm like, lock your windows, close your blinds. I don't know. I pick and choose what I'm gonna be prepared for, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. So studies show that about 25 to 50% of Americans have sleep paralysis at least once. So it's also pretty closely associated with people who experience narcolepsy or have narcolepsy. And so some ways that you can avoid sleep paralysis if you do experience it are not taking naps, getting as much sleep as possible. Don't sleep on your back, which I thought was interesting because both times it happened, like I said, it might have been 3, but there are 2 that I have very detailed memories of. I was sleeping on my back. And I'm not usually a back sleeper. I usually sleep on my stomach. So be careful out there.
Same. It was the same for me. And it was a nap. It was a nap for me as well. Yeah. I thought about that because the only reason I remember is because I remember like feeling like when I finally woke up that like I needed to like pull my body up.
Yeah.
Because like I couldn't move my limbs.
Right. It's like you're stuck to the bed.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
It's so scary. Yeah. Oh, so let us know about your guys' sleep paralysis experiences, by the way.
Oh yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah. I'm interested.
Yeah. Did you see the demon? Because a lot of people see something in the room with them.
Yeah.
And
I don't. Oh yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead. Nope. You go.
I don't think I experienced mine long enough. Also, again, I'm not good with scary things, which is why we need to do an episode on that. Because I don't even think I would let my mind process like what was going on. I was just like, this can't be happening. Like I got to get out of whatever this is.
That's why it's scary, because you're trying to move your body. You're trying to get up and you can't.
Yeah.
Your brain is awake, but your body can't move.
Right.
It's
like a disconnection. It's like disconnected. Yeah.
Right. It's wild. So, and then if it's really bad, of course, seek care. You might have a sleep disorder. So as we know, as of the 90s, there's over 200 sleep labs in just the US alone. So
I know
help is out there.
Right.
All right. So of course, to wrap it up, we like to give you some extra tips. So reasons to get more sleep, as if anyone needs it. We're not avoiding sleep on purpose. Nobody's like, no, I can't go to bed. Well, except for Ryann, who wants our 16-hour workdays back. But for the rest of us out there. All right. So some reasons to get more sleep. Of course, sharper brain. So you're going to be more on your game if you are more or if you are better rested, more well rested. It also plays a big part in learning and memory.
Yes.
So learning, retention, memory, long-term memory, all of that processing happens when you're asleep. So you're able to take in more, and then it gets filed away more concisely when you do get more sleep, when you are more well rested.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The stimulations that you get from your day, if you are trying to have those connections, like, build like long-term memory and be stored. You have to let your mind replenish. Right. I think it's very similar to like working out, right? Like you're exercising muscles and they need time to like replenish themselves, reproduce like cells again, right? And the same processes go on in your brain. Which I do think is super interesting, because learning like an instrument or learning a language, it's going to be the same exact thing. So if you learn something new, you're going to realize, like, I literally just try to listen to Spanish lessons on my way to work sometimes, like a podcast basically. And I cannot tell you how many times I've almost not like fallen asleep at the wheel, sleep paralysis on the wheel.
Jesus.
I know. No, I'm just kidding. But I cannot tell you how many times I've like shown up to work and I'm like, oh my God, I need to turn this off. Like it's making my mind tired, which is making my eyes feel heavy.
Yeah.
So just something to think about. Yeah. Sleep. If you are a heavy sleeper and you can just really sleep, don't take that for granted. Like everyone does not have that ability to just be like, okay, I'm sleeping now. Bye. You know, like
they really don't.
It's a long goodbye.
Privilege. A long, Oh, that's so true. Yeah. I must have not slept all of 10th grade because I don't know anything. I don't remember any algebra. So that didn't store anywhere. I don't know where that went.
Yeah. But I was sleeping in class, so I don't know where it was.
That's true. Yeah. So number 2, it's a mood boost. Obviously, you're more well rested. You're going to be in a better mood. A large study showed that when you have insomnia, you're 5 times more likely to develop depression, and your odds of anxiety or panic disorders are even greater. So it's not just, oh, I'm in a bad mood. It can really affect your mental health long term as well. So that sleep is super, super important in those aspects. Number 3, a healthier heart. So when you sleep, your blood pressure goes down, giving your heart and blood vessels a little bit of a break. The less sleep you get, the longer your blood pressure stays up during the 24-hour cycle. And so higher blood pressure can lead to heart disease, including strokes.
So I don't know much about blood vessels. And I realized
Did we say we weren't experts?
Right.
I think we forgot our disclaimer, but here we go. Yeah. Just put that out there. Ryann is not a doctor. Okay, go ahead.
I know. So like blood pressure, what is it? No, seriously though. I get the term, right? Like, well, actually, I don't even understand the term. Is it because like your blood vessels are this big and then the pressure of it like going through your blood vessels like that? Is that the pressure?
Yeah, well, so your heart, oh God, I don't know.
We don't have to go into this. The point of that comment is that I don't really understand how it works. So if it's tied to sleep being important, like those are things that I need to start understanding a little bit more about. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, if your heart rate goes down, then your blood pressure goes down because your blood isn't being pumped through your body. As much or as strenuously as it is when you are up and active and doing things.
Got it. Okay.
So it's basically a break for that whole system of your body.
Okay.
In layman's terms, hopefully. Oh, Jose might correct us. Jose, give us a tip.
Fair enough.
Okay, so next one, athletic achievement, which like that's how they wrote it, so that's how I put it. But like, I'm not trying to achieve anything athletically, but I get what they're saying here. So, kind of to Ryann's point, it says, besides robbing you of energy and time for muscle repair, lack of sleep can lower your motivation to get out and get active.
Yeah,
as we
definitely.
So, yeah. Which again, it says, which can make it harder to push yourself mentally and physically. So again, it does tie back into your mental health as well. And slower reaction times. When you are like crazy tired, it's like you are drunk. You just aren't functioning, aren't processing things as quickly. That's why you see people pull over to the side of the road and take a nap, you know?
Right.
Like truck drivers, for example, you know what I mean? Like they're on the road for 24 hours, 48 hours at a time.
Right.
But that can be dangerous.
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Number 5, steadier blood sugar. So during the deep, slow wave part of your sleep cycle, the amount of glucose in your blood drops. Not enough time in this stage means that you don't get a break to allow a reset, which can leave more blood, or excuse me, more glucose in your blood. So your body will, I just yelled body. Your body will have a harder time responding to your cells' needs and your blood sugar levels.
Got it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
I know. Look at all these tidbits.
I'm basically a neuroscientist now. So
I mean, at this point, yeah. After this, we'll go do brain surgery. We got to wrap it up because we have,
need to scrub in. Yeah.
Right. All right, 2 more. So number 6 is germ fighting. That's how they worded it. But basically, ongoing lack of sleep changes the way your immune cells work. So they may not attack as quickly if you do get some kind of infection, which could lead to you being sick more often.
Right. Which, I'm trying to make really hard concepts like that we learned in like biology and stuff more understandable for myself, just because I just think the way that we learn things is so not practical,
Yeah.
Like we should know that the fact that like when we sleep, like our body doesn't have to focus on being active, right? And keeping us, like you said, keeping our blood pressure at a certain point. It can focus on the things that it does when we sleep, which is why when you're sick, you need to sleep so much more, right? Because your body needs to fight off the infection. So that's literally all it is. Like instead of, your, immune cells going to work, they're like, no, I need to stay home. I need to take care of the internal, you know what I mean? It's all a journey, do yoga is what I'm saying.
That's what your cells need. Just a little bit of yoga.
Just a little bit of inner me time work. You know what I mean? They need to journal. Okay.
They need,
You're a lot to deal with. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
We put
You're
our
like, why don't we take a nap? We're done with you for the day. Yeah.
So. And when they're really mad, they put you into sleep paralysis. So
that could be it. We've solved it. Look at us. We did it. So last one is weight control. So being sleep deprived messes with hormones in your brain, leptin and ghrelin, Ghrelin. What do you think?
Sure.
Okay.
sounds like a dating profile, like the #1 superstar Ghrelin from LA,
Oh, that's true. He spells it like GREYLYN.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh. I know.
Continuing.
Oh, yeah. Moving on. So basically it messes with the hormones in your brain that control your appetite, which is definitely true. When I have like pulled an all-nighter, not on purpose, I have bad anxiety. And so there are a few nights where I did not sleep, but I'll be hungry like at 6 a.m. Like starving hungry because I just didn't rest my body. And so I don't know if it's like a metabolism thing. Like it's like we need energy from something.
Right.
So I definitely
that checks out. That's also like if you do try to stay up all night, either for a job or like because let's be real, it's usually something work related, which is annoying. But like for school or a job, you get like weird hungers. You need to like eat something, and it does feel much more of like my body is exhausted, but I haven't let it replenish, right? So I need to fill it with something. Yeah. Interesting.
So those are all the reasons to get more sleep, people. So take a nap unless you get sleep paralysis. No naps for you. So can you have too much of a good thing? Sleep needs vary based on person, but the average, like we said, is 7 or more, but more than 9 can actually do more harm than good. Research found that people who slept longer have more calcium buildup in their heart arteries and less flexible leg arteries.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which makes sense. Your body's like in one position for so long or laying down for so long.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, that wraps it up. So now it's time for the big question. Are we doing this wrong? Ryann?
Yeah, I think I am. I do think I am because just, it's like you just, even though I know sleep is important, hearing how important it is, you know, like how it affects my body, I'm like,
yeah,
damn, I'm really fucking it up, aren't I? So yeah, I'm doing it wrong. I literally stay up like for no reason. Like sometimes I could sleep. If I put my phone down, I could sleep. But I don't know, like 5 to 6 years wasted on sleep. I want to live, baby. You know?
That's dreaming. That's just dreaming. You're not dreaming the whole time you're sleeping. I didn't even look at the stats for how many hours we spend sleeping.
Even more so. I'm not going to sleep tonight. No, I'm just kidding.
You're going to be really annoyed tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, exactly. No, I've done it wrong. I need to sleep better. And even if it is like a disorder, like you were saying, if it is an issue,
yeah,
you probably should figure it out, because as you do get older, like you do want to actually have like full days that you can do things, right? We talked about that, like with traveling, right? Like traveling when you're young, yeah, you don't care if you maybe get drunk or, you know, maybe waste the days in bed or whatever. But as you get older, like you do actually want those memories. Sometimes, maybe you don't. I'll speak for myself here.
Right.
But you kind of want those memories to be a little bit different, and you want to just have the energy to be around, you know, the people that you love and enjoy those situations. So don't sleep for work, but sleep for like enjoyable things.
Right. And for your health. I remember I was listening to an episode of Nicole Byers' podcast, Why Won't You Date Me? And it was her episode with Conan O'Brien. And I just remember, this is like the only part I remember, but his dad was a doctor, and she asked him something about like, how do you look so young, or something like that. And he's like, sleep. Yeah. Sleep. My dad was a doctor, and you know, that was like one of the most important things. And that's so true. I mean, we spent the last couple episodes talking about skincare, hair care, and it's all these external things you can do for your body, but there is really something to taking care of the inside and taking care, you know, making sure you're well rested.
Right.
It really makes a difference. Like when I didn't sleep for basically a couple days, I looked crazy. I looked, you know, just bags under my eyes. My skin was like sallow, and like it's just not a good look. Yeah. You know. So get some sleep, people. I've been doing it wrong. I don't have like a healthy sleep schedule. But after after all this interesting stuff I found, I'm like, oh my God.
I know. My
he
blood
is going
vessels.
to bed at 9 p.m.
I know. I just keep thinking my poor blood vessels. Your poor blood vessels.
Yeah. That's they need some yoga.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Need a timeout.
For real. All right. Well, that wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another episode of Am I Doing This Wrong? You can rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, or join us on YouTube for the visual conversation, language access provided. Thank you so much to our amazing interpreters for joining us today. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. Yes. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Wrong the Podcast. Join the conversation, join the community. We love to hear from you guys. And that is it. We will see you guys next week.
Oh, bye. I was in sleep paralysis. No, I'm just kidding.